Okay. Today's class is going to be super duper important. You know why? The reason is because we are going to be discussing about the ladder of bhakti. Okay, the ladder of bhakti. So let's just see the ladder of bhakti. What is Krishna's instructions? The chapter number is 12, and this is devotional service. This is the devotional service is the most confidential knowledge. It's more confidential, most confidential, and more confidential, most confidential knowledge that Krishna is going to be explaining how we have to be doing bhakti yoga of Krishna. Okay, we'll try to find out all of that. So let us start here. So first, with a very quick recap. First, let's do the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namane Nama Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayane Gaurakata Dhamadaya Nagaragramatarini Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyat Deshitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So chapter number 12. Everybody open chapter number 12, devotees. And we'll go through the progressive levels of bhakti. So it all started with this when Krishna has explained about the opulences of himself. And he says that his opulences are unlimited, but the primary opulences he has listed. Correct? And then he explains Arjuna, and then Arjuna says, I would like to see that form by which you are pervading the entire universe. And Krishna has shown the universal form, and Arjuna has done glorification of that universal form, and Krishna takes the 400 form and then 200 form and explains that this 200 form is very, very, very rare. And after all of that, Arjuna is asking a question: who is more perfect? Those who are engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman? The personalists or the impersonalists? And Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, explain those who fix their mind on my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith, are considered by me to be most perfect. So Krishna is saying, who is the most perfect? Who is most perfect? Personalist or impersonalist? Personalist? Yeah, those who worship on the personal form, they are considered to be the most perfect. And then he says a consolation words for those who are following the impersonal path. He says, yeah, they will also come to me, but that's a very difficult path. To make the progress in that discipline is always very difficult for those who are embodied. But again, he contrasts and again he stresses that, but those pure devotees who take up my personal worship, who are devoted to me without any deviation, engaged in devotional service, always meditating upon Krishna, putting all their minds on him, for them, Krishna is the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. How many of you would like Krishna to swiftly deliver you from the ocean of birth and death? Please raise your hands. How many of you want that? Yeah? Okay, very nice. Good. So that's what Krishna is saying. Then here is a formula. If you want Krishna to deliver you swiftly from this ocean of birth and death, just fix your mind on Krishna and engage your intelligence on Krishna. Then you will live in him always. Okay? So this is the formula. This is the formula. The main formula for today is this. Mayeva mana adhastva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivashishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. Okay? So who wants to read this verse? Synonyms, translation, and purport. Please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hi, Prabhuji.
Yes. Go ahead.
Maya eva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivashyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. Synonyms: Mai upon me, eva certainly, manaha mind, adhatsva fix, Mai upon me, buddhim intelligence, niveshaya apply, nivashyasi you will live, Mai in me, eva certainly, atha urdhvam thereafter, na never, samshaya doubt. Prabhuji, will you scroll? Translation: Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here is the ultimate formula for all of us. Okay, I'll tell you once what happened. There was one devotee who took initiation, and after initiation he got lost a little bit. Okay, so he lost his way, and then he forgot the spiritual path. And then he met our spiritual master, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. And our spiritual master said, read chapter number 12. When you read chapter number 12, you'll be reoriented. You see, when we read chapter number 12, particularly this verse particularly, it's a commitment for us. It increases, it recharges our enthusiasm. Okay, why we are supposed to be doing devotional service at all? Okay, here is the ultimate instruction of the Supreme Lord. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of God, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So let us see, purport is so beautiful here. Prabhupada is saying, one who is engaged in the Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in direct relationship with Supreme Lord. So he is in a transcendental position from the very beginning. The devotee does not live on a material plane. He lives in Krishna. Living in Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj. How many of you watched the movie Mahavatar Narsimha? Have you all watched the movie Mahavatar Narsimha? Yes? What happens in that movie? Right?
Devotion.
Yeah, devotion. Prahlad Maharaj undergoes so many difficult situations. He's been attempted to killed so many times, but he doesn't lose his faith. So he is living in the kingdom of Hiranyakashipu, but actually he is living in a transcendental plane. He's not living in a material plane at all. He is living in Krishna. Nivashishyasi mayeva. Krishna is saying, you will live in me. Actually, in fact, let me tell you something. See, we are all situated in the spiritual sky. Am I right? There is a spiritual sky, correct? This is a spiritual sky. Within the spiritual sky, a material sky has come. like a cloud. There is a sky, clear sky. Suddenly cloud formed. That cloud is Maya. So similarly, we are also, but the cloud is also within the sky only, isn't it? Yeah. Similarly, we are in the cloud, we are in the material world, but the material world is inside spiritual world. The moment when we always think of Krishna, we are re-spiritualizing ourselves, and doesn't matter where we are, which place we are, that place is Vrindavan. Right? It says Tadhama Vrindavanam. Tadhama Vrindavanam means Krishna's abode is Vrindavan, and Krishna is non-different from his abode, Vrindavan. And a pure devotee, always thinking about Krishna, where is he living in? Where is that
Vrindavan.
person? Vrindavan. Right? Srila Prabhupada said this, right? Doesn't matter where he is, whether he is in the Montreal center, Los Angeles center, whether in the Nairobi center or Japan center, Hyderabad center, doesn't matter which ISKCON center he was in, he was always in Vrindavan. Right? So this is the meaning. Just fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me, thus you will live in me without a doubt. So a devotee, when he chants this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Krishna and Radha and Krishna, his internal potency, are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. When you say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, what is happening on the tongue? Who is dancing? Radha and Krishna are dancing. When we offer food to Krishna, Krishna is accepting, and when we are eating the remnants, we are becoming Krishnized. Prabhupada says Krishnized. It's like, Prabhupada says it's like an infection. Prabhupada says, become infected and infect others. Prabhupada said, you become infected and infect others. This is Krishnization. So one who does not engage in such service cannot understand how this is so, although this process is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita and the other Vedic literature. So we are going to see now how to become Krishnized. How many of you are ready to become Krishnized? Do you want some Krishnization? Yes? Are you ready for some Krishnization? Yes? Yeah. Let us begin some Krishnization. Who wants to read this? 12.9.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Athachittam samadhatum na sakshnoshi mai stiram avyasa yogena tato mam ichchaptum dhananjaya. Synonyms: Atha, if therefore, chittam, mind, samadhatum, to fix, na, not, shaknoshi, you are able, mai, upon me, stiram, steadily, abhyasa yogena, by the practice of devotional service, tatha, then, mam, me, icha, desire, aptam, to get, dhananjaya, O winner of wealth, Arjuna. Translation: My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Shall I
Hare
read
Krishna.
purport also?
Yes, you can. Yes, you read the purport also. Yes, very important.
In this verse, two different processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated. The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love. For the second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment to Krishna. Bhakti Yoga is the purification of the senses. At the present moment in material existence, the senses are always impure, being engaged in sense gratification. But by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, these senses can become purified. And in the purified state, they come directly in contact with the Supreme Lord. In this material existence, I may be engaged in some service to some master, but I don't really lovingly serve my master. I simply serve to get some money. And the master also is not in love. He takes service from me and pays me. So there's no question of love, but for spiritual life, one must be elevated to the pure stage of love. That stage of love can be achieved by practice of devotional service performed with the present senses. This love of God is now in a dormant state in everyone's heart, and their love of God is manifested in different ways, but it is contaminated by material association. Now, the heart has to be purified of the material association, and that dormant nature love for Krishna has to be revived. That is the whole process. To practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, one should, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, take bath, enter the temple and offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna, then collect flowers to offer to the deity, cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity, take prasadam, and so on. There are various rules and regulations which one should follow, and one should constantly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees. This practice can help anyone rise to the level of love of God, and then he's sure of his progress into the spiritual kingdom of God. This practice of Bhakti Yoga, under the rules and regulations with the direction of a spiritual master, will surely bring one to the stage of love of God. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you. There are two types of people, two classes of people. Who are they? If you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. So, one person is somebody who is already attached, okay, who has already a taste for attachment for Krishna by transcendental love. Okay, that's the topmost devotee, already in love with Krishna. The other one was not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love. The other one is somebody who has not got the attachment towards Krishna yet. Okay? Now, for the second person, if he has to elevate to the first stage, like it was indicated in the previous verse, right? Always fix your mind upon me, just like Prahlad Maharaj, right? The perfect example is Bhakta Shiromani Prahlad Maharaj. Bhakta Shiromani, topmost devotee, always thinking about Krishna, always thinking about the Lord, right? So that is called ultimate. He has got the attachment for Krishna. He's got the love for Krishna. I mean, imagine, he is not ready to give up thinking about the Lord even at the cost of death. Yeah. So, I mean, just ask yourself, I mean, how much will we be ready to take up? I mean, what kind of difficulties are we ready to take up? Right? I mean, what's the worst that I can take? I mean, and I will still be in devotional service. Like, you know, I mean, how far, you know, what fraction of, okay, what fraction, what percentage of Prahlad Maharaj is our faith? What do you think? What percentage of Prahlad Maharaj? Anybody 100% here? Yes.
We are motivated, Prabhuji. We may not be, but we are wanting to go in that direction.
Yeah, we want to, right? Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, just see Prahlad Maharaj, no? He was continuously threatened and his father is like the dictator, and he's directly threatening him, he's killing him directly. Still he is like saying, no, it's okay. It's like Haridas Thakur. He was bet in 20, how many marketplaces? 21?
21.
21 marketplaces. I mean, he was dragged to 21 marketplaces and he was whipped. Right? And then he was threatened that we will kill you. Then he said, even if you're going to cut me into pieces, every piece of my body is going to chant Hare Krishna. Can you imagine the faith? Right? That's called love. Okay, that's the deep attachment, right? Right. So that's very deep attachment. Just like the gopis, gopis in the Ras Leela dance, when Krishna called the gopis by the flute, okay, there were some gopis who were not allowed to leave the home. They were not allowed to go out of the home. They were locked. Then what happened to them? Do you know what happened? You know what happened next? What did they do? You know what happened to them? Anybody guess?
They sang the Gopi Geet, Prabhuji, there.
No. What happened? I'm saying what happened to the gopis who were not allowed to go and participate in the Ras Leela dance? Who were locked up.
Krishna went to them.
No.
Came out of the house and
No. They left their body. They died in separation of Krishna. Because they could not tolerate the separation of Krishna. Can you imagine the intense love and attachment that the gopis have? Right? They left their bodies. Okay? So this is very, very intense, right? So Prahlad Maharaj, gopis, all the pure devotees. So the point is, Krishna is saying, come to that stage of attachment. Okay, attachment is bad, but attachment to material things is bad. Attachment to spiritual, attachment to Krishna is very good. Krishna is telling, become attached to me, become detached to the world. Attachment to Krishna is positive attachment. Attachment to the material world is negative attachment. So to get to that position, okay, it can happen only by service. See, when you serve somebody, you get an attachment, isn't it? Happens, no? Even if you are serving one organization, if you're serving a country, we have an attachment with our country. We have attachment with the company that we work with. We have an attachment with our manager whom we work for, because we have served them so much, isn't it? Or we have attachment towards our children because we've served them so much, isn't it? If you serve, there is attachment, correct? So, but Prabhupada is saying here, but tell me, how many of us, really lovingly serve our master? We go to office, but do we have loving service to them? Right? There is some exchange, no? Okay, if you pay me so much, I'll stay, otherwise I'll leave. Something like that, isn't it? Or even if I have faithfulness, that person may remove me. Just like how many these days, a lot of companies are doing layoff. And when the layoff happens, the employees become very upset because they would have spent 15 years, 20 years. They would have started their work from that company. And they really love that company. There's so much of attachment for the company, but the company doesn't need them. The company doesn't need them. So they feel very hurt when they're fired. You see? So the material master, we are serving to get some money, right? So this is not in love. Okay, this is, so I am doing some service, is paying me. That's not the one. But pure stage of love is nothing to do with any payment. Gopi, there's a very beautiful verse. There's, the gopis say that Why are you, let me just find that verse. It's very nice, okay? Nehakim Mada says, yeah, this is the verse. Second verse. Sharadudasaye sadhu jata sat sarasi jodara shri mushadrisha Suratanatate Shulkadasika Varadani Nato Neha Kim Vadha. You say, O Lord of love, in beauty your glance excels the wall of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pond. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maidservants who have given themselves to you freely without any price. Isn't this murder? They're asking, isn't this a murder? Suratanatate Ashulka Dasika. Ashulka Dasika. You're not even paying us money, but we have become your servants. You are Varada, you are the bestower of so many benedictions, but you have left like this suddenly in the middle of the dance. It's like you're murdering us. Why are you murdering us like this? Right? So this is called as pure stage of love. Okay? That doesn't come directly like that. Okay? This love is there within us. Okay, just like how gopis have love for Krishna, we have love for Krishna, but it is dormant within us. Right? Just like, the child, a small child, starts to walk, isn't it? Walk. All of the walking is already there. The walking capacity is there inside, but it has to come. It will be exhibited with practice, right? The walking capacity, it's an innate capacity to walk. Already the child knows that I can walk, and the child just has to be given some support. Similarly, we just like the gopis, we have the pure love for Krishna which is there within us. But what has happened is it has become contaminated. It's so many layers of contaminations it has got now. So now when we go to temple, there is some kind of a business exchange, something that we are expecting. There's some expectation like that. There's no 100% surrender, right? That love, that surrender is not there. The gopis, the Prahlad Maharaj, the faith is not there. Just the faith of Prahlad Maharaj and the love of gopis is not there. Why? Because somewhere there is some contamination, material association contamination. So now to cleanse this contamination, we have to do something. First step we have to take is take the shelter of an expert spiritual master. So what is the first thing that we should do? What's the first thing that we should do?
Take the shelter of an expert spiritual master.
Yeah, take the shelter of the expert spiritual master. And under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, we have to follow certain principles which the spiritual master will give. Rising early in the morning, taking bath, going for Mangalarti, chanting Hare Krishna, offering flowers to the deity, cooking food to offer to the deity, taking prasadam. These are the rules and regulations, okay? So we have put all of this, we have put all of these rules in the bhakti steps, right? The bhakti steps, we have put the rules one by one. There's the same things, okay? What Prabhupada said, we have put it in different levels. It's the same thing. For example, setting up an altar in your home, rising early in the morning, every day doing Mangalarti, Guru Ashtakam, chanting Narsimharti, doing Tulsi Maharani prayers, and then offering prasadam to Krishna, right? And then hearing, following, today is Ekadashi, doing fasting, no grains on Ekadashi, correct? Chanting more rounds on Ekadashi, chanting at least 16 rounds every day, Hare Krishna. Hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam from pure devotees, right? These are the practices, serving the deities, all of these practices will get us. This is called as Abhyasa Yogena Tato. Can you see the Abhyasa Yogena Tato? Devotees? Abhyasa means practice. Abhyasa Yogena. Yogena means controlling our senses. So we are controlling our senses by not eating outside, controlling our senses by following the instructions of the spiritual master. We're controlling our senses and deepening our attachment towards Krishna by hearing about him through Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, from the pure devotees only. Pure devotees means those who are in the parampara system only. Because there's so many people who are there who speak about Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, but they do not have love for Krishna. They are not pure devotees. They're contaminated by either karma or by jnana or by yoga or by something else or by something else or by something else. So we should only hear from those who accept Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead and who believe only in the pure love of Godhead and nothing else. Then we can rise to the love of Godhead. This is the process. Then we can then what will happen? We will develop a desire to attain Krishna. Then we will transcend or go to the next level like Prahlad Maharaj. The attachment to Krishna will arise. Okay? So this is the process. The practice of Bhakti Yoga under the rules and regulations. Again, Prabhupada is saying, this practice of Bhakti Yoga under the rules and regulations. First of all, we have to practice Bhakti Yoga. First of all, Bhakti Yoga means all of this. Rising early in the morning, doing the Mangalarti, chanting Hare Krishna, offering flowers, offering foodstuff, taking prasadam, following the rules and regulations, following Ekadashi, reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. All of this is Bhakti Yoga, first point. Under the rules and regulations, that's the second point. Everything is very important. We have to do it under the rules and regulations. That's very important. See, what happens is without the rules and regulations, then the bhakti will not give us the result that it can give. Bhakti in itself is transcendental, but because of the three modes of material nature that we have, the result that we were supposed to get, the love of Godhead, we won't get. If we don't see these rules and regulations, Prabhupada says, see, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, there are no rules. Right? There are no rules for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. For devotional service of Krishna, there is no rules. But the great sages have laid down some rules which will help us to be regulated in the devotional service so that we are making good progress. Because it should not happen that we are putting one step towards Krishna and taking two steps back. So in that way, if we take one step towards Krishna and two steps back, effectively we are taking one step back. Isn't it? Are you understanding what I'm saying? If you don't follow the rules and regulations, that's what happens. You're cleaning the room with a broomstick, but then you're also filling some garbage parallelly. Putting some garbage and cleaning the room. Putting some garbage. So when is the room going to become clean? Make sense? So first stop the garbage and then clean. So then it becomes effective. So this is the process. This is a process. Prabhupada was asked this question that, Prabhupada, it said that, for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you don't need any rules. There are no rules. Namna makari bahuda nija sarva shakti tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala. And why are you saying that? Mantra hine sampradaya hinena mantra nishfalo bhavet. But without taking initiation, you're saying that mantra will not be effective. How do you reconcile that? Right? So the answer is, see, Bhakti independently is very powerful. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is independently very powerful. But, somebody going to a school and somebody studying on their own. There can be some person who did not go to the school, but he made it very big in the life. Yesterday I was watching some reel where it was like there's a diamond merchant, okay, who has made 12,000 crores, but he studied only 7th standard. So now Can I say that to become, to earn 12,000 crores, you should not study beyond 7th? Is that the right conclusion? Devotees, anybody will agree that? If I say that, I got the formula. The formula is you should not study beyond 7th, because that's the formula. Then you will become a very rich guy. Right? So that guy was lucky. But the process is, the general process is to go to school. Correct? Similarly, we should not, somebody said, do you become a doctor by accident, or do you become a doctor by joining a medical school? Tell me. What is the better chances of becoming a doctor? Is it possible to become an accidental doctor? Maybe. There's some people like that. Okay, there's some people like, I've heard some stories of some Siddha. There was some person, okay, I forgot, very famous person who went from India to China. Is very famous, Bodhisattva, who is, they were healers. There were some healers like that, healers who have some inner powers, they can heal. So now I want to become a healer. You tell me, what's a better way to become a healer? Shall I just try and accidentally become a healer and hope that I become an accidental healer, or join a medical school? What's my better chances? Devotees, tell me.
By joining a medical school, probably.
Joining a medical school. Which school? Should I join a school without any affiliation, any certification?
Approved or authoritative.
Or shall I just buy some books and just read on my own, practice on my own, try? Maybe that may also work. Some people have actually become, some healers and medical people, great people are there like that, some exceptional stories like, but that's not the standard process, right? Similarly, if you want to become the devotee, if you want to go back to Godhead, right? So it cannot happen by accident. It has to happen by a proper process. The process is this. The practice of Bhakti Yoga under the rules and regulations with the direction of a spiritual master will surely bring one to the stage of love of God. So this is the answer, because a lot of people ask, how did Tukaram become a devotee? Did he have a spiritual master? How did so and so become a devotee? Did he have a spiritual master? Like that, some people try to argue. So the answer for that is this, okay? By accident, by chance, somebody may become, okay? But that's not the process. The process is this. To go under the rules and regulations we have to follow, practice Bhakti Yoga under the direction of spiritual masters. 2 times Prabhupada said, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master. This is so important, okay? Because when there is no guidance of the spiritual master, we may do some activities which we may think that it is very devotional, but it may not be. It may be sense gratification in the name of devotional service. We don't know that, okay? It's very, very subtle, okay? Once, for example, Prabhupada, I think, if I remember, our spiritual master was chanting many rounds, 30 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he said, our Guru Maharaj went to Prabhupada and said, I'm chanting 32 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Prabhupada said, you chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then remaining time you go and preach. Like that. Understand what I'm saying? So for example, there may be somebody who's doing, I'm doing Nirjala Ekadashi. I'll do complete Nirjala Ekadashi and I'll sleep all the Ekadashi day, full day. Then the spiritual master will say, rather than you stopping all your services by not drinking water, right? Not chanting anything, not doing anything. Better you drink some water, have some non-grain, and do your devotional service properly. You see? See, the expert spiritual master is always needed, okay, for guidance. Otherwise, it's so easy for us to go astray. And we always, we have to ask question to the spiritual master. So everything we should take guidance of the spiritual is very important. Should ask the spiritual master whether this is okay or not. For example, our spiritual master, I'm just telling you some stories. Okay? Our spiritual master says, somebody wanted to go to Vrindavan. Can I go to Vrindavan? Then The spiritual master even sometimes may say, don't go. Right? Don't you think it is very counterintuitive for you? Don't you think it is so non-obvious? I mean, how can spiritual master say, don't go to Vrindavan? Why is Guru saying not? Why do you think is the Guru saying, don't go to Vrindavan? Tell me. Anybody can say? Why is Guru saying?
There's a bigger purpose, Prabhuji, for you to serve some other assignment.
We have to qualify ourselves to go to such pure centers, Prabhuji, pure holy dhams.
Yeah. There's a lot of depth in that. Okay. See, what happens is, place like
It's not a
Vrindavan.
tourism place.
Yeah, it's not a tourism place. It's not a sense gratification place. And, high chances are that we may go there and start some sense gratification. For example, we may get a feeling that, okay, what is the rate here in Vrindavan? Right? Let me buy an apartment here. Right? For example. And then, okay, this is a nice real estate. Why don't I do some real estate here? Something like that. Okay, understand? We're getting lost, isn't it? And not only that, what our Guru Maharaj says is, Vrindavan is a place where if you do devotional service little bit, you'll get 1,000 times return. But if you do one aparad also, it becomes 1,000 times. So, what our Guru Maharaj says is, what is your seva? If you have seva, you go. Not simply, not for visiting purpose. But see, all of these nuances, no? How will we know? Tell me. Without an expert guidance, how will we know what we should do? Suddenly I may feel, for example, I'll tell you my own story. For example, one day I was in ISKCON Sheshadripuram temple, and I was there. I was said, is a Brahma Vaivarta Purana is there? They said, yes. Okay, I said, can you give me Brahma Vaivarta Purana? I said, yes, I'm giving. Then Anand Jagannath Prabhu came. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm buying Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Prabhuji, I want to study this. Then he said, stop. He said, first you read Bhagavatam. First you come back to me and say you understood Bhagavatam completely. Then you go for Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Then I gave that book back. At that point of time, I did not realize what is the meaning of that. At that point of time, I thought, why is Prabhuji stopping me from gathering knowledge? This is also Krishna book. Why only Bhagavatam? Right? But now when I reflect, I understand the wisdom of that instruction. You see? That it is confusing. Brahmavata Purana is, again, there are some mixed stories there, okay? But Bhagavatam is like pure Bhakti Yoga. We should stick to Bhagavatam. Right? So we always need a spiritual master to do devotional service. If we are serious, just like if somebody is serious to go to school or college, they need to join some institution like that. They need to get the guidance. If you're not serious, if it's just like, okay, I just want to do something, okay, something, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya, then spiritual master is not required. Just want to try something. It's just, I am a little casual about it. For casual bhakti, spiritual master is not required. But Krishna also sees it very casual, doesn't take it very seriously. You see, it's very important, but it's actually, I can't stress on this important enough because I've seen myself, I mean, my mind itself, so many times I get so many ideas which the spiritual master corrects. Okay, I'll tell you one more story. For example, once what happened, one devotee was in the masjid in the Middle East. He was he's very busy. He's promoted to something and he's very busy. And our Guru Maharaj said to him, start Bhakti Vriksha. Then he said, but my office and all, I'm busy, I can't do it, or something like that. Then our Guru Maharaj said something very deep. He said, we are not doing bhakti to give us relief from our material life. It's not like I have a material life. Bhakti is supporting me. No. He said, our material life is we are doing so that we can support our bhakti. Are you understanding what's the difference? You're going to office so that you have some money, so that you can continue a devotional service properly. Main thing is devotional service, not going to office. It was such a deep statement, right? See, only expert spiritual master can say all of this. Otherwise, it's so easy to be, because our mind is like that. Hundreds of things, hundreds of ideas. I'll feel today I'll do this, tomorrow I'll do this, tomorrow I'll do this. Something or the other will get idea. One day I may feel I'll chant 64 rounds. One day I may feel I'll not sleep tonight completely. Something or the other will be coming to our mind. One day I'll feel I'll go and bring Radha Krishna deities now. We don't understand, okay? We need the spiritual master guidance. So the spiritual master has got Krishna with him. He knows how to do it. His spiritual master has trained him. Okay? So his spiritual master has trained him, so he knows exactly what is the thing, and he's an expert, and he trains us. He gives us instructions. Okay, you do like this, don't do like this. Then we get guidance. So it's very important. Okay? So Bhakti Yoga must be taken very seriously under the guidance of spiritual master, then we will progress. Okay, let's go to the next one. Why has to on that so much? You know what? Because what are we doing? Devotees, can you tell me? There are different levels of bhakti. First level is pure devotional service. The pure devotees are 24/7 thinking of Krishna. They are at level of Radharani, Gopis, Prahlad Maharaj. Even if you kill them, Haridas Thakur, if you will stop them, they may leave their body also from going to the temple. That level. Okay? But most of the time, what we are doing is Abhyasa Yoga, isn't it? That means devotional sadhana bhakti. Are you understanding what is the meaning? What are we doing? Are we doing sadhana bhakti or are we doing prema bhakti?
Sadhana bhakti.
Sadhana bhakti. Or are we in the stage of Prahlad Maharaj or the gopis are in that level? No, right?
Nowhere.
So, yeah, we're not. So we're doing sadhana bhakti. We want to. Everybody, all of us want to. Okay, but to get to that level, we have to do the sadhana bhakti properly. Okay. So next one is, okay, what if you cannot do sadhana bhakti also? Okay, what if somebody is not able to think about Krishna also? Then what we should do? Okay. Sorry, the previous. Yeah, who wants to say? Read this one? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Yeah, please. Yes.
Abhyase pai asmarthosi matkarma parmo bhava madartham api karmani purvam siddhi apyapsasi. Synonyms, word to word meaning. Abhyase, in practice. Api, even if. Asmarthaha, unable. Asi, you. Are, matkarma, my work. Parmaha, dedicated to. Bhava, become. Matartham, for me, for my sake. Api, even. Karmani, work. Kurvan, performing. Siddhim, perfection. Avyapsasi, you will achieve. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Purport. One who is not able to even to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of a spiritual master can still be drawn to the perfectional stage by working for the Supreme Lord. How to do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of 11th chapter. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness and they require help. So even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organizations to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for the sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna. satisfaction of the Krishna, and that is a spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness, or he can help with publications. There are various fields of activity, and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. So this is very important. So how many of you remember we discussed about Krishna karma? Mat karma krun mat paramo mat bhakta sangavarjita. You remember that verse? 11th chapter, last one. We discussed about Krishna karma. When Krishna says mat karma, what is mat karma? What is Krishna's karma? Okay, mat karma means service of Krishna. Very simple words. Krishna is non-different from his deity. Krishna is non-different from his deity. And service to Krishna means Archana Vidhi. Offering different paraphernalia to Krishna, and Krishna accepts that service. Right? And even chanting of Hare Krishna is also, one of the process of worshipping Krishna. Right? All the Navavida Bhakti is, even if you glorify also, it's worshipping Krishna. But in simple words, Krishna karma means, you have to, there must be some physical activity, using our hands, legs, etc. Simple example is Ambarish Maharaj. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. Vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane. How many of you remember that verse? I'll open that verse and we'll understand what is Krishna karma. By seeing Prahlad Maharaj, we can understand what is Krishna karma. Okay. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo. Vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane. Karau harer mandira marjanadishu. Shrutim chakarachyuta satkatodaye. Mukunda lingalaya darshana drushau. Tadbrutya gatra sparshainga sangamam Granam cha tatpad saroj saurabe Srimat Tulasya rasanam tadarpite Padav hare kshetra padanu swarpane Shiro rishikesha padavivandane Kamam cha dasye natukama kamya Yatottama shloka janasraya ratihi. Anybody can read the translation, please?
Maya Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Translation. Maharaj Amrisha always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna, his words in describing the glories of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the Lord's temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples, and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his senses of touch in touching the bodies of the Lord's devotees. He engaged his senses of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to the Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting the Lord's prasada. He engaged his legs in walking to the holy places and temples of the Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord 24 hours a day. Indeed, Maharaj Amrisha never desired anything for his own sense gratification. He engaged all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to the Lord. This is the way to increase attachment for the Lord and be completely free from all material desires. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So how should you do the Krishna karma? Is supposed to be done like this. Okay. Krishna has to be served. See, Krishna is not seen by our material eyes. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavet Grahyam Indriyaihi Sevan Mukehi Jivvado Spurat Yena Eva. Krishna is Adokshaja, is not visible to our eyes. Okay, he's the string upon which all the pearls of the universe are standing. Right? Now, but one great thing that Krishna has given is Krishna has come in the form of his names. You can chant his names. And Krishna has come in the form of his deity, Archavatara. And Archavatara service is very important, because when there is Archa, when there is a Krishna, when there is Krishna, Krishna Balaram, Radha Krishna, there is so much of service that happens. And when we serve Krishna, okay, Krishna is accepting that service. Okay. So this is how, just like Ambarish Maharaj, such a great king, he's engaging himself in the service of Krishna. So Matkarma, if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, regulations of Bhakti Yoga means taking initiation. Okay, regulations of Bhakti Yoga means taking initiation and doing the 16 round chanting, 4 regulative principles. If you cannot practice this, then just try to work for me. Just 1 minute. So if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then the next alternative is, Krishna is not saying there's no alternative at all. He's very kind. Krishna is very kind, is very kind father. So he's giving chance for those people who cannot come to that stage. He's giving another chance. Okay, he's saying, okay, fine. If you cannot do it in such a regulated way, taking initiation, chanting 16 rounds, following 4 regulated principles, doing all of this, you can't do this. Okay, then do one thing. Try to work for me. Try to work for me. Krishna karma, mat karma. So he's saying, Madhartam api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsasi. Madhartam api karmani. That means, what is it? Simple words, what this basically means, Krishna's temples are very important, because Krishna's temple, it's not a deity, okay? It's not made up of stone or wood or metal or marble. It is Krishna himself. Okay? Krishna himself is there in his form. So, for such a noble activity of having a Krishna temple, we must help. This happens with a lot of people, okay? This has happened in the past also. There were so many people who have donated for Krishna consciousness. So, they know that in this lifetime, we cannot follow all these regulatory principles. That it is very difficult given the family situation and given the advanced situation. It's not possible anymore. So they think, okay, what is the next best that I can do? I cannot become a pure devotee now. Okay, let me serve Krishna somehow. And then what they do is they donate to Krishna. Okay, even Krishna is accepting that service also. If you cannot follow the regulative principles of bhakti, okay, serve Krishna by directly helping. Prabhupada is saying clearly, we must give, just like as a business, if you want to set up a business, right? It's a very simple no-brainer, but people don't understand this. If you want to set up a business, you need a building, you need an office, you need to pay rent, you need to pay electricity, right? You need to, there is some people who will be coming. So there is a necessity for Lakshmi, right? So every temple has got the same thing, Tirupati temple or Guruvayur temple or Puri Jagannath, because there will be so much of cleaning, there will be electricity, there will be different types of costs will be there, labor cost, right? Who will be working for the temple. And all of them have to be paid the wages, and all of them, electricity bill has to be paid. The land, there'll be something, so many things will be there. So for all of this, there is something, there's always the temple is running. Okay, we have to understand. Okay, those people who are running the temple, they know the difficulty. Those people who are running the temple, they know the difficulty. I'll tell you the story. This is so powerful. Okay, the other day I went to Visakhapatnam. Correct? I went to Visakhapatnam. So Visakhapatnam, our Guru Maharaj had come, and then Her Grace Nitai Sevani Mataji. How many of you heard about Nitai Sevani Mataji? Yes? Have you heard about Nitai Sevani Mataji? What is? Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So she was telling the story of how she built that temple. There's a wonderful temple in Visakhapatnam, very huge 3-acre campus, very huge marble temple is there, huge temple. And she was telling the story how it happened. I'll very briefly tell it. Brief story. Well, briefly, I will summarize it. Okay, how she did it, how they did it. So Nitai Sevani Mataji, she got attracted to Krishna consciousness when she was in her schooling, 10th standard or something. She read Prabhupada books. She is from Gujarati family, and she was attracted to Krishna consciousness. She started reading Prabhupada books, and so much she was addicted to the books that their parents were saying, "Don't read, study for exams." So what she used to do, she used to be putting the blanket and putting some torch and reading Prabhupada books. So intensely she used to be reading Prabhupada books. So then later she took initiation, and her parents said, "What happened to you? Are you mad?" They said, "Are you mad?" But she didn't care. Okay, she took initiation. And then she went to the spiritual master and said, "You tell me what I should do now. Whatever you say, I will do." Okay, 19-year-old, I think, maybe at that time, Mataji. Then our spiritual master said, "Get married." Then parents said, "Are you mad? Have you gone mad? You lost your senses." And she said, "I will only follow my spiritual master." And he said, "You get married to this brahmachari." Our Guru Maharaj said. His name is Samba Prabhu, Samba Das. He's a very nice brahmachari. Brahmachari means who is dedicated in, in that ashram. It's ashram brahmachari. You marry him. Yes, Guru Maharaj. He's a Bengali. Mataji is Gujarati. Understand? She said, "Yes, Guru Maharaj. I'll marry." Then she got married. And then next spiritual master said, "Go to the US." And then Samba Prabhu and Nitai Sevani Mataji went to the US. They were in Atlanta, 1996 to 1999. And one day an email came. "Do you know a little bit of Telugu? You know a little bit of Telugu, right? Both of you go to Vizag, Vishakhapatnam, and start an ISKCON center." One email. They're settled there for 4 years. They're very happy, settled in the US nicely. They're doing some service. Everything is fine. Immediately, Samba Prabhu packed all of his luggage and immediately moved, both of them, couple moved to Delhi. And they came to Delhi and they bought a car. And they opened the map, 1999. And they were locating, where is Vishakhapatnam? They were saying. They don't even know where is Vishakhapatnam. There's no Google Maps at that time. They opened the maps and were seeing, where is Vishakhapatnam? Where is Vishakhapatnam? And they found, oh, here is Vishakhapatnam. And they drove to Vishakhapatnam from Delhi. First they came to Gwalior. From Gwalior, they came to Annavaram. Annavaram, they stopped in the night. There's a Satyanarayana Lord Vishnu temple. And they took darshan, and then the next day morning, they entered inside Vishakhapatnam. And Samba Prabhu wanted to see that. He wanted to start a center because his Guru's instruction. So what he did, he asked Nitai Sevani Mataji to stay in one hotel room. And he went in the morning in the car to go around. And he did not come till evening. It's late in the evening, nobody not returning. Mataji was very worried. And then she gets a phone call. Those days, STD phone call. She got a phone call. She said, "I'm here right now here. Okay, I'm near from STD booth. The city is very nice. I saw this is a very nice, beautiful city. This nice beach here. It's all very nice. And the person who I'm calling now, STD booth, he has got land. He has got a bungalow, and he wants to give that bungalow for preaching." Okay. So then she was very happy, and he asked, "Okay, did you eat food from in the morning?" She said, "No, I didn't eat anything yet. Have some fruits opposite stall." So then he said, on the day one, they got a building because of a very kind soul who said, "Okay, you can use my building for preaching." Right? So then they were very happy. They started the center there. They put one, they took the calendar photo of Radha Madan Mohan, made a nice lamination, put that photo, put some red carpet, and they wrote an email to Guru Maharaj that, "Guru Maharaj, we have set up a center in Visakhapatnam." Then Guru Maharaj replied, "I am coming." Okay? He said, "I am coming now." And she got very worried. Now, how am I going to say? There's nobody here, nothing, only one building, Radha Krishna photo. Right? And then he came, and then she did not even know how to cook. And then he said, "Okay, is there any program? Are any people going to come here? He said, yes, Guru Maharaj. In the evening, everybody will come. There's a hall will be full, she said. Till then, nobody was there. Then when Guru Maharaj, our Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was sleeping, she went door to door and she was knocking. Our Guru Maharaj came from America. He will speak about Bhagavad Gita. Please come at 6 o'clock. Like she was knocking every door. And then everybody came up, and the hall was full. Right? That is how they started. And afterwards, there was then in 1999, they got allocated. They went to collector office. And then they got allocated 3 acres near the beach. Okay. At that time, they said it is 3 acres. And then after 2 months, they allocated it to somebody else. So then Samba Prabhu had to go from Visakhapatnam to Hyderabad 630 times in general coach from Visakhapatnam to Hyderabad, 630 times. Okay. Whatever these couple are doing, they're spending their money, okay, for buying everything, okay, for everything. All their savings, they are just putting into it. That's it. They're not thinking about what is going to be our savings, who will take care of my children, what is going to be my inheritance, nothing. Okay. So then finally they got the land, but that land was given to somebody else and they started to fight. Okay. Finally, somehow after a long struggle, they got that land. Okay. After getting that land, then they said that time Christian chief minister, they said you have to pay 37 lakh rupees now. In 2 months, they had only 1 lakh rupees, all their savings. First, they put all their savings, 1 lakh rupees. And they went everywhere, all ISKCON centers, they were not getting any money. Nobody gives money. And we think ISKCON is very rich. But no, it's actually what happens is, it's always running out of funds. There's no money. So, because there's always, there's a requirement for building and there's always something or the other, it will be used. The Lakshmi will be used. There's always a requirement for Lakshmi. And everybody's on their own. Nobody supports, nobody says, okay, come here, I'll give you money, nothing like that. So they were completely on, they put all their savings and they went everywhere. They begged everybody and they finally got 37 lakhs and they paid it in 2 months. Now today there are hundreds of people. That was in 2006. After a long struggle, they got it. And now the building they're going to be inaugurating next year. Okay. So the point, what I'm trying to say is, we have to help Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, Pranair arther dhiyo vacha. Somehow or the other, with all our heart, with all our life, with everything, we should put our everything into Krishna consciousness. Okay, that's what Krishna is saying. If you cannot follow the rules and regulations, Abhyasa Yogena, you cannot follow the rules and regulations of Bhakti, okay, then work for me. For example, like how Nita Sevani Mataji Samba Prabhu, they worked for the last, 20, 15 years, and they're of course still working. They've completely dedicated their, themselves for working for Krishna, setting up one center in ISKCON Vizag with so many difficulties. They put their entire money into it, all of it, like that. So this is a lesson. That's what we should know. This is how we should be actually helping Krishna consciousness. Okay, that is when we will actually elevate. Then we can go. Just like in here also in Hyderabad, there is a person called Pulla Reddy. He gave the land for ISKCON Hyderabad. Even today, we remember Pulla Reddy. He was the MLA. There's Pulla Reddy Sweets also. Everybody still remembers that. This is the person who gave this land. When Prabhupada came first time to Hyderabad, Pulla Reddy came forward and he said, take this land and build this temple. Now ISKCON Abbots is such a big temple. There's so many devotees who have come out of it. So much of service happened there and it is growing. So like this, we have to actually, do something for Krishna. Right? See this. So just as in business, there is some labor, organization, everything is required. The same work can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, and that is spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness. Or he can help with the publications. You can do book distribution. Prabhupada gave instruction to our Guru Maharaj, distribute 10,000 big books. every month, and 1 lakh small books. That is the instruction. So if you can distribute yourself, you distribute. If you cannot distribute, you give some money so that they will distribute on your behalf. There's a book distribution table actually. You can do one simple thing. Okay, you can say monthly one Bhagavad Gita I will sponsor. How much is one Bhagavad Gita? 330 rupees. That's it. Or you can say I will sponsor one brick for Krishna, 50 rupees. One brick for Krishna, one book for Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, 330 rupees. That's all. You should be doing this. Or help with the publication. There are so many ways in which you can help Krishna consciousness to be spread. If we cannot sacrifice the result of the activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. If you cannot give away everything, okay, Bali Maharaj gave his everything away. There were some devotees I have seen in Mayapur also. Some rich people, they have given away everything. We have seen grandson of Ford has given so many crores of rupees for Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Okay, if you cannot give away everything, that's fine. Give some percentage. Give little for Krishna. Little bit of service for Krishna. This service can cause the Krishna consciousness. This will be this service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help you elevate to the love of God. So this can take you to the next level, love of Godhead. Okay, devotees, clear? Let's go to the next verse. What if you cannot even do that? I cannot follow the 4 regulative principles and do devotional service. I cannot work for Krishna or cannot donate for Krishna. Then what is the third alternative? Krishna is very kind. He's giving another alternative. Let's see what's that alternative. Yes, go ahead, devotees. Yeah, we want to read this.
May Prabhuji, are you
Yes,
ready
yes,
now?
please. Yeah.
Text 11. 1 minute, Prabhuji. अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्. Synonyms. Atha, even though, etat, this, api, also, ashakta, unable, asi, you are, kartum, to perform, mat, unto me, yogam, in devotional service, ashritaha, taking refuge, sarva karma, of all activities, phala, of the results, tyagam, renunciation, tataha, then, kuru, do, yatatmavan, self-situated. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Purport. It may be that one is unable to even sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions of punya or special work in which the result of one's previous action may be applied. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country, etc., may be accepted so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 18.46, we find it is stated, Yatha pravritir bhutanam. If one decides to sacrifice for the supreme cause, even if he does not know that the supreme cause is Krishna, he will come gradually to understand that Krishna is the supreme cause by the sacrificial method. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Matsi. Thank you very much. So what happens is there may be a situation where even serving Krishna may be difficult, may not be allowed to serve Krishna. For example, Prabhupada is saying here, see, because of social, familiar, religious consideration, I want to do something for Krishna. I want to give something for Krishna, but my family may not allow me to do that. Or maybe my society may not agree if I serve Krishna. Right? So there can be objection from a family member if I directly serve Krishna. If I say I'm building a Krishna temple, there may be objection. They say, no, you cannot build a Krishna temple. Don't do all of that. So then, in such case where we cannot directly serve Krishna, see, serving Krishna directly is better, obviously, that's what it means here. But in case you cannot directly serve Krishna, then you can take up some good cause. Right? Like it is said, digging some wells, building a hospital, okay, building some schools, because you're putting your money, okay, you're putting your money to some good cause, some higher cause than our own sense gratification. So some higher cause, which is better than me enjoying. So I give it to a charity, I give it to an old age home, I give it to some hospital, I give it to some food donation, medical camp, all of this. So what happens is that it gives a mentality of little purification happens, purification, because I'm going beyond my sense gratification and me and my conception. I'm able to identify there is something higher purpose than me alone. Some higher purpose I'm able to find. So it is a gradual purification, one step towards Krishna. Okay? So this we can do. So it's therefore it's recommended here because it's practice of giving up the fruits of one's activity. One is sure to purify his mind gradually, and gradually one can be able to understand Krishna consciousness by doing this regularly. Let us say regularly. I mean, I used to be doing this, for example, regularly. Giving to some charities, for example, regularly giving to charities. I mean, we should never say that, but I'm saying giving to charities like that, but there was some purification that was happening. And then we are able to catch Krishna. If that purification is not there, mind is so materialistic. Like my mind is almost like me, my money, my money, my money. Right? So I went to one program, okay? In that program, they made us do an activity. What was the activity? They said, everybody bring 500 rupee note. Okay? And they said, what we will do, we will burn your 500 rupees note and put it inside the bucket of water. And they made us stand in the queue. And when you stood in that queue with that 500 rupee note, everybody became very uncomfortable. Okay? Everybody became very uncomfortable. Because there's a very strange relationship that we have got with our money. Okay, when you stand in that queue, you will understand what's that relationship. When you see your 500 rupee note being burned away by somebody else in front of you, right, you'll feel like, oh my God, I can't do this. I won't let you do this. Something like that. Okay? That's the kind of attachment that we have got with the money. That's a money that's so attached. Money is sweeter than honey. Money is sweeter than honey. So that's what Bhagavatam says. For the sake of 1 rupee, For the sake of 1 rupee, even brothers will fight, sisters will fight, mother and daughter, mother and son will fight. For the sake of 1 rupee, people will be ready to kill their relatives also for the sake of 1 rupee. Okay, that is the relationship of rupee money. So if we can give up, say, okay, I give it away for something good, social good. Okay, somebody I'm giving. So somebody is saying, I'll do something nice for the society, I'll give 1 rupee. If we start giving up like that, there's a little bit of purification. But if we keep holding it like that, my money, my money, my money, then we'll never come close to Krishna. Okay? Because our mind is not pure at all, because we are not used to giving anything. Forget about giving. I mean, Krishna is saying, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharma. Bali Maharaj gave everything away. First of all, he said three steps. Krishna took, Vamana took all the steps. He took away all the belongings of Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj said, take me also. You have taken everything of mine, you take me also. Where is that level of surrender will come? If I cannot take out 10 rupees out of my pocket and give it to some good person or somebody who is in a distress. Right? So it's in the opposite consciousness. Me and my consciousness. So definitely some purification happens when you do for social cause, nationalist cause, community cause. It's called, national sacrifice. When we had the independence movement, there were so many people who sacrificed for the country, isn't it? So that is some level of purification. So yatha pravrittir bhutanam. If one decides to sacrifice for the supreme cause, even if he does not know that the supreme cause is Krishna, he will come gradually to understand that Krishna is the supreme cause by the sacrificial method. So this is the principle of sacrifice. Yajna, when we do the sacrifice, we say we are putting dravya yajna. That means you are putting fire sacrifice and you are saying idam namama. You are putting some grains and saying this is not mine, this is not mine, and you are trying to give it to the supreme. So we are practicing that consciousness of giving, the consciousness of giving, so that we purify ourselves to a stage where we are able to serve Krishna directly and be able to follow the regulative principles and then be able to love Krishna 24/7. This is the gradual steps. Okay? Clear, devotees? Shall we stop here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining. Hare Krishna. Hope it was clear.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a nice
Thank you,
class.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Hare
Dana
Pranam.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Welcome, devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to praise the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I should thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So